Multiplying and dividing integers, or multiplying and dividing positive and negative numbers, they are simpler than adding and subtracting integers. The rule says if your signs are alike, you either multiply or divide, and your answer is going to be positive. But if your signs are not alike, your answer is negative. It's super duper easy. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let's say that I have -6 times -2. Now you know when they're written like this with nothing in between, and I mean nothing in between the parentheses right here, no add sign and no subtract sign, that means we're multiplying. Some people like to put a dot there and write it like this. Some people like to put times, but that can be confusing when we're doing algebra because you think that times, the little x is a variable, so we don't like to use that. Usually we'll use parentheses once we get into high school. Since our signs are the same, and you like us back up, you can write it any way you want, I don't care, but we prefer parentheses. When we multiply -6 times -2, back to the rules, if the signs are the same, and they are, they're both negative signs, the answer is going to be positive. So all you have to do is multiply the two numbers together. 6 times 2 is going to give you 12, and since they're both like signs, the answer is positive 12. Just like if you had a +6 times a +2, the signs are the same, they're like signs. So you multiply your two numbers together. 6 times 2 gives you 12, and the answer is positive because they have like signs. But if they have unlike signs, let me erase these guys. Unlike signs, for example, -6 times a +2. You still multiply your two numbers, you get 6 times 2, which is 12. But since the signs are not the same sign, your answer will be -12. So -6 times a +2 is a -12. Just as if we go +6 times -2, the signs are not the same. So you multiply your two numbers, 6 times 2, you get 12. And a positive and a negative make the answer negative. It's a -12. So 6 times -2 is a -12. Now multiplying and dividing follow the same rules. So when we divide, we look at our signs, like -6 divided by -2. Now you know this also can be written -6 divided by -2, or in parentheses -6 divided by -2. Or some people, old school, might write it like this. The way that we prefer it is the way that I originally wrote it. The other way that might be accepted is with parentheses. Now, you just divide your regular numbers back to where we were getting. 6 divided by 2 gives me 3, and since they're both negative, the answer is positive 3. So -6 divided by -2 is a positive 3. Just as a +6 divided by a +2 is a positive 3, because we have like signs. If our numbers are not the same sign, like if we have -6 divided by 2, you still divide. 6 divided by 2 still is going to give you 3, but because the 6 is negative and the 2 is positive, your answer is negative, because they're not like signs. Or if you have 6 divided by -2, the answer is a -3 because 6 divided by 2 gives us 3, 6 is positive, 2 is negative, and unlike signs, the answer is negative. So all you have to remember when you're multiplying or dividing integers, positive or negative numbers, if the signs are alike, the answer is positive. If the signs are different, the answer is negative. Let's do a few more examples and make sure we've got that. If I have 10 times a -4, it can be written like this or this. Either way is acceptable. You multiply your numbers. 10 times 4 gives you 40. The 10 is positive and the 4 is negative. Since the signs are different, the answer will be a -40. What if we divide? -18 divided by a -2. The signs are the same. My answer is positive. Before I even know what the division is, I know my answer is positive. 18 divided by 2 gives me 9. So -18 divided by -2 is a positive 9 because the signs are the same. One more time. If you're multiplying or dividing with positive and negative numbers, If the signs are alike, if they're the same sign, your answer is positive. If the signs are different, your answer is negative.